Artillery has a fundamental problem. It's heavy and complex to operate. These machines could not complete their mission without their well-trained and expert crews. As World War II erupts, artillery is even more hard-hitting, but has to adapt to a fast-moving war. Blitzkrieg tactics mean trench warfare is a thing of the past. All sides have capitalized on the lessons of World War I and boast an extended family of guns of every kind. All these guns are wheeled, accurate, fast-firing, and support the recoil forces of ever larger munitions. Legendary artillery pieces are born into this thunderous brethren. Deadly killing machines, capable of delivering a knockout blow from miles away. Spearheading the Nazi Blitzkrieg was a supreme war machine, the German 88. Originally intended to blow aircraft out of the sky, it could fire 34,000 feet into the air. Its long caliber barrel meant it could hurl a 20-pound projectile at a scorching 2,700 feet per second. This sheer power meant it could also take on tanks, able to penetrate 3 inches of armor at over 1¼ miles.
Against the soldiers of the 7th Armoured Division in the Second World War in the Western Desert, or against the Russians, the 88 was a real tank killer.
What we have here is a couple of things that make it very, very stable. One of which here is a recuperator, and this dampens down the recoil. But in addition, you can take off the frontal tires here, and right down here you have the front formation of a cruciform platform. And then coming back here, this thing folds down like this, and then this spike is fitted into this hole up there and is driven into the ground like this. And this then becomes a very stable platform for both anti-aircraft and anti-tank use.
During the Second World War, massive railway guns continued to evolve. Hitler and his Nazi war machine, impressed with their propaganda impact, would take the railway gun and max out the technology with massive designs. The K5 was one of the most numerous. Over 20 of these 218-ton monsters were produced.
It's an 11-inch gun. They were actually made to shoot the Maginot Line. But in the event, what happened was, of course, the Germans went around the Maginot Line, so they didn't have to use them.
Despite this, K5 still serve on all fronts, firing their 562-pound shells over 30 miles and packing a mighty punch. In the Battle of Anzio in 1944, the Germans wheeled out the K5 to shell the embattled Allied beachhead. Its firepower would inspire an even bigger flight of fantasy.
Those guns were very, very good guns, and they were very accurate guns. The Germans thought, well, if it's good, we can go better. They went out to 800 millimeters, 36 inches.
In line with Hitler's maniacal vision, he would order the construction of a monster gun, the largest the world had ever seen. 2 of them were made, called Gustav and Dora, and took 5 years to build.
The Dora and Gustav guns are massive guns. They actually had to go across 2 railway tracks in the way that they were transported around.
It took 6 weeks, 5,000 men to emplace the gun. It had a firing crew of 500 men.
The gun weighed a staggering 1,350 tons, moved on 80 wheels, and was as high as a 3-story house. Despite millions of Reichsmarks of investment, only the Dora saw service in the siege of Sevastopol in 1942.
the Dora and Gustav are a real extreme example of something probably just slightly too big to have any real operational use.
They drained resources and took soldiers from the front line.
It had a major general for a gun captain. So in my own little way, I like to think it helped us win World War II.